And joining us to discuss the implications of this postponement is ICC-accredited lawyer Gilbert Andres. Magandang umaga sa iyo. Welcome back to Morning Matters. Attorney, I think you're on mute.
Magandang umaga, Gretchen, and to your viewers also.
Okay, magandang umaga. Okay, una-una, your reaction to this postponement and how does this affect, I guess, the prosecution? Now, will this be significant delay or is this administrative mostly in nature?
I think, Gretchen, on the part of the victims, they're deeply frustrated and disappointed by this delay, and by this postponement because they have actually been waiting for this next step in their quest for justice. But I think also that this is merely administrative, so this is merely temporary. In fact, the pretrial chamber has emphasized that this is not a unlimited period of delay. This is actually merely temporary.
This is actually a little bit confusing because the defense petitions to defer the hearing because the former president is supposedly unfit to stand trial. But in response, the judges decided to defer the hearing to determine if he is unfit. Hindi ba parang nangyari na nga yung deferment na yon just by trying to see kung totoo nga na siya ay unfit? I mean, what would you say to that? And could you explain to us the decision?
Actually, 2 points. The first point is that there was actually no determination that Mr. Duterte is unfit for trial. That was not determined by the pretrial chamber. Secondly, the postponement was really for the pretrial chamber to determine its decision on the adjournment motion, the adjournment application of the defense. And I'd like to add, third, is that in fact the defense actually applied for an indefinite postponement, but the pretrial chamber said that the postponement is not indefinite. There's actually a definite period to decide it, except that the pretrial chamber did not state what is that definite period.
But if you take a look at the whole thing, wouldn't a delay be disadvantageous to the defense since it keeps the former president longer in the ICC penitentiary?
Well, I actually would agree with that. Well, this is really a part of the process, but I think also to add that I think based on the tenor itself of the decision, I think there will really be a confirmation of charges if we just look at the tenor of that decision on the postponement.
I guess the question I'm really asking here is what is defense trying to do by asking for this deferment? And do you believe that, or have you been hearing about the health of the former president?
Well, I think, if we can just divine from the decision itself, I think the defense is using the fitness for trial as a justification for the postponement of the confirmation of charges. And I think we can divine from all of their submissions that they're asking for examinations of Mr. Duterte. But I'd also like to add that, in fact, if we look at Article 61 of the ICC Rome Statute, which is the provision on confirmation of charges, there's actually no provision there for a resetting or a postponement based on fitness to proceed to trial. Because, in fact, it presupposes that there's a trial proper. But for now, this is merely pre-trial. And in fact, it still has to be determined whether or not it will go on to trial. In fact, that was the tenor of the reasoning of the dissenting opinion of one of the judges.
Is there a link, you think, to also the request for interim release? Kasi yun din ang dinadahilan, na medyo, kumbaga parang old age na si former president and hindi naman siya tatakas and all of that.
I think so because in fact, if you also try to review their applications for interim release, although it's heavily redacted, you can only divine that they're also using this reasoning in their application for interim release, and in fact, they're using it for the resetting of the confirmation of charges. The alleged their allegations with respect to fitness to proceed with trial.
On the other hand, doesn't this give prosecution more time to solidify its case against the former president? I say this in light of Royina Garma applying as witness in the ICC.
Well, we can also look it in that way, although there has already been disclosures of evidence previously, because there were in fact deadlines last August. And there's already a lineup of the documents or testimonial affidavits that the prosecution will present. As to whether or not Colonel Garma will actually testify through documents, that's really the final discretion of the Office of the Prosecutor.
Kumbaga, this was already expected by prosecution that she will testify.
I think what the Secretary of Justice stated is that there will be an initial interview based on what the statement of Secretary Mulya was. Now, as to whether or not former Colonel Garma will actually testify, it's really subject to the discretion of the OTP. So we really don't know as of now whether she will testify in at least for the confirmation of charges.
And the interview will be conducted by the prosecution. Am I correct in understanding that? To be able to determine kung siya ay magagamit dun sa case? O will that be, done privately?
Oh, actually, okay. I'm going to state a hypothetical because no one really knows for sure. Because in fact, these are actually confidential processes. But the process really is the OTP will interview and then will determine what are the facts that the potential witness can really testify on, and essentially they will determine whether or not this can help the case forward. So the final determination will really be up to the Office of the Prosecutor.
Oh, okay. So private ito, ibig sabihin yung interview.
Yes, this is a private interview. In fact, there's a statement that this is confidential. Yes.
Oo, kaya lang parang nabanggit po yata ni DJ Secretary Remulla that she may become ICC witness. So it's a may, no? It's not a will.
It's a may because, in fact, it's part of the prosecutorial discretion of the Office of the Prosecutor who it will actually present in any process in the ICC.
Sa iyong pagbasa, gaano kalaki itong kanyang role, kanyang parte? She did expose the reward system here in the Duterte drug war. Anong contribution ng testimony ni Royina Garma?
I think just based on her previous testimonies before the Philippine Congress, Colonel Garma can actually help in the contextual element because remember, when it comes to crimes against humanity, there's actually a element there of this meaning to say there's a widespread or systematic attack against the civilian population. So hindi lang po to random na patayan sa war on drugs. At sa tingin ko po, that's what Colonel Garma can actually provide for. So na widespread or systematic attack to. At planado po ito. This is part of a state policy. So pwede po siya magkaroon ng insider look as to what is that policy of the Duterte administration was during the Philippine War on Drugs.
Okay. Could you help us fill in some gaps here? Kasi di ba siya ay nag-testify dito sa Kamara. Tapos bigla siyang lumipad. I believe in the United States. What was happening there? I mean, was she just being protected by the state? I guess the Department of Justice kaya doon muna siya nilagay kasi she's safer there. Or was it difficult, was it difficult convincing her to actually help the case of prosecution?
Actually, it's really very difficult to actually speculate kung what were really the intentions there. But I think what the Philippine government is now doing based on its action is that it's really fully cooperating with the ICC. Because in fact, we have stated previously that even though the Philippines withdrew from the Rome Statute, it still has residual obligations. May natitira pa rin po mga obligasyon ng Pilipinas na mag-cooperate po sa isang ongoing ICC investigation. Kaya kung tingnan niyo lang po yung actions ng Philippine government, it's actually cooperating with the ICC investigation.
Pero si Colonel Garma, wala naman siyang, do you see any form of hesitancy from her or backtracking? Wala naman. She is really fully committed here as a possible witness.
I really hope that she will be fully committed to it. In fact, that's one of the determination in any ICC investigation that's being determined whether full consent ba yung pagiging potential witness ng isang witness po. Isa po yan sa mga i-determine po ng Office of the Prosecutor.
Okay. Are you hearing of anybody else moving forward to testify, particularly with the PNP? Meron ba tayong mga naririnig na dumadagdag na witness, na possible witness?
As of now, walang specific na mga information because it's actually even confidential kung basahin natin yung mga submissions ng OTP na available din sa website ng ICC. Talagang redacted din kung sino po yung mga pangalan na i-represent nila. Kaya we can only surmise.
Well, we're grasping at straws here, including on the health of the former president. Kahit mismo si Vice President Sara Duterte has said na hindi raw siya pinapayagan na mag-update tungkol nga dun sa kanyang kalusugan ng kanyang tatay. What are you hearing about that?
When it comes really to the health of any suspect before ICC, it's really subject to the supervision ng registry, which is really a neutral office under the ICC. In fact, nakalagay po sa regulations of the registry yung mga patakaran po ng ICC. At rest assured talaga for everyone that the suspect's health concerns are really taken care of well by the ICC because the ICC puts a premium on the health issues ng isang suspect. Kaya ako lang po, this is my opinion, I don't think there should be a justification for any delay or any postponement or for any justification po para hindi na po matuloy ang confirmation of charges because we believe, the victims believe that Mr. Duterte is really fit to actually attend. And in fact, he can even waive his presence po sa confirmation of charges. Klaro po yan sa Article 61, Paragraph 2 po yan ng Rome Statute.
Pero bakit ho kaya pagbabawalan ng ICC na mag-disclose ng information about the health of the former president?
I think binabalanse ng ICC din yung rights at yung privacy po ng isang suspect Kaya can really accuse the ICC of any favoritism because it actually looks at the welfare of any suspect. Naman po yung mga decision po ng ICC.
Okay. Siguro naninibago lang tayo, attorney, dito sa mga proceedings ng ICC kasi iba yung yung pamamalakad at pagtakbo pati na rin the way I guess the courts respond to the press and pressure to get information. Pero on your end, what are the adjustments for me as lawyer to the victims? Ano po yung mga adjustments in terms of timelines and how long do you expect this delay to be? Given na parang tingin po ninyo ay medyo mas administrative siya in nature.
I think 3 points. Una, gusto po namin makinig po sa mga biktima ng war on drugs para talagang i-collect po yung kanilang views and concerns dito po sa postponement. Although ang kanila pong initial reaction nga ay talagang deep frustration po sa pag-postpone po ng confirmation of charges. Ikalawa po, gusto po naming ipahiwati. We want to share those views of concerns of the victims to the pretrial chamber through channels na talagang gusto po namin marinig ng pretrial chamber yung deep frustration po ng mga biktima dito po sa postponement. At ikatatlo po ay talagang we are readying for a eventual confirmation of charges because we believe that there should be a confirmation of charges.
Oo. Pero mukhang hindi naman mawawala yun, kasi parte ng proseso po yun kasi nasa pre-trial pa lang tayo and we have to get to trial eventually.
Yes. In fact, we want to echo yung dissenting opinion po ng isa sa mga judges na in fact ang postponement po based on any allegations to the fitness, it's not within the power of the pre-trial chamber. It's actually within the power of the trial chamber, which presupposes na natuloy nga into the trial.
Kasi iniisip ko, attorney, naalala ko magkasama tayo sa Hague noon. And we were there for the first ever yung pagbabasa ng mga ipinapata. Yun. And the former president appeared via teleconference. Hindi pa pwedeng ganun nilang din kung sakasakali?
Actually, pwedeng ganon. Oo. In fact, I think nasabi po yan ng defense in one of its submissions. And in fact, the suspect himself can outrightly just waive his appearance kasi provided naman po yan sa Article 61, Paragraph 2 ng Rome Statute. Kaya I think kung basahin mo talaga a reasonable reading of Article 61 and other provisions of the Rome Statute should show na fitness for trial is not actually a justification to actually postpone or to delay the confirmation of charges. And this is actually the tenor of reasoning dun po sa dissenting opinion.
Okay, mukhang tayo'y mag-aantay muli as things are going. But thank you so much for airing the side of the victims and also breaking down things for us over how things work at the ICC. Maraming salamat sa inyong oras. We have ICC-accredited lawyer, Attorney Gilbert Andres.